Hello, writers. Time for this week's vocab enrichment. Example story. Lola was an orphan trying to survive on the streets of London. Sometimes life was bearable, but in the winter she shivered in miserable cold, and in the summer she wriggled all night, scratching at bug bites. Lola saw many others grow hard and bitter, always complaining about their terrible lives. But Lola had a secret. Every time she thought she couldn't stand it a single moment longer, she would go to the races. She saw the colorful banners flying in the air. She heard the thunder of hooves galloping across the track. Lola would watch the winners and dream that she was one of them. Orphan. Orphan is a child with no mother or father. Usually they passed away. They would have a lot of orphans in London in about 100 years ago. And it was a very sad situation. Connection. You can call objects orphans if they belong to a set but aren't part of it anymore. So if you're writing, you can talk about an orphan shoelace as if a shoelace is just on the floor by itself, or an orphan playing card. Look, what do I do with this orphan playing card? The whole box is gone, but I just have this one. Bearable. Adjective, something you are able to go through even though it's unpleasant. So if you see the thermometer here, it's 100 degrees outside. Maybe that would be unbearable, but you could say, oh, how's the weather today? Oh, it's bearable, as in like it's hot, but I can stand it. I don't love it, but I can stand it. Connections, what kinds of things would you describe as bearable rather than I love it? Maybe you would say, oh, piano practice is bearable, or math class is bearable, something that you don't love but you can get through. Wriggle, to twist back and forth like a worm. This person is on their face, going back and forth, and they're wriggling forward slowly. When do people wriggle around? You can say that somebody is wriggling around because they're being tickled. If you're tickling someone, they usually move their arms and their legs and do that back and forth motion. Or you could say if you're in a tent and you're camping and then people are next to you, you could say, hey, stop wriggling. Because if you move around in your sleeping bag, it makes a lot of noise. Bitter. Adjective, feeling anger and regret, like when a situation is unfair and should have been different. You can see the expression on this woman's face. She is not happy. She is feeling bitter. You can tell that something happened to her that she is really thinks is bad. Connection. Sorry, this is a typo. What are some other things that can make a person bitter? So people can feel bitter if they felt like felt like they were fired from a job for no reason. People can feel bitter if everyone else got ice cream but I didn't. They can feel bitter if they were treated differently than other people, and they don't feel like it's fair. Banner. Hanging flags, often with a symbol or words. You can see the banners here that are hanging. Sometimes they're just decorative like this, but sometimes they can be signs. Like you can see a banner with a store's in front of a store saying grand opening, or a banner saying big sale today. When do people use banners? When they want to make a big announcement, or sometimes when they want to show a religious symbol, or sometimes when they just want to make the place colorful, because banners have this kind of celebrating feel. Let's read our example story one more time. Lola was an orphan trying to survive on the streets of London. Sometimes life was bearable, but in the winter she shivered in miserable cold, and in the summer she wriggled all night, scratching at bug bites. Lola saw many others grow hard and bitter, always complaining about their terrible lives. But Lola had a secret. Every time she thought she couldn't stand it a single moment longer, she would go to the races. She saw the colorful banners flying in the air. She heard the thunder of hooves galloping across the track. Lola would watch the winners and dream that she was one of them. That's all for today. Thank you.